Johnson family, living in the small town of Cedarwood, was just getting by. Michael, the dad, worked hard at his mechanic shop, while Sarah, his wife, stayed home to care for their two kids, David and Lily. They didn't have much, but they were happy. It wasn't easy, but they made do. Life was tough, but manageable. Then everything changed. Michael's shop started losing customers when the economy took a nosedive. People just couldn't afford car repairs like they used to. Soon he had no choice but to shut it down. Around the same time, Sarah got really sick. The medical bills started stacking up, and they had no savings left. The little money they had disappeared quickly, and soon they couldn't even keep the lights on. Food was running low, and every day felt like a struggle. The weight of it all hung heavy in the air. Michael would leave early in the morning, desperate to find work, anything that could help. But no matter what he did, it never seemed like enough. And Sarah? She was getting weaker by the day. The kids could see their parents were stressed, and it broke Michael's heart. He felt like he was failing them. Every night, he'd sit by Sarah's side, his hands shaking from the stress. "I don't know how much longer we can do this," he'd whisper. But even in her pain, Sarah would smile softly. "Michael, we'll get through this. We've made it this far. We just have to hold on." Time passed and things went from bad to worse. They had to send the kids to stay with a relative because they couldn't afford to feed them. The house was cold and dark, and it felt like the world was closing in on them. Michael was completely overwhelmed. One night he thought about walking away, leaving everything behind. He couldn't bear the weight any longer. He wandered into the woods, lost in his thoughts. The silence was deafening, and he was ready to give up. But as he stood there, he heard a small voice inside him, like a whisper in the wind. "You're not alone," it said. Michael fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. In that moment, something inside him shifted. He knew he couldn't give up. He had to keep going, not for himself, but for his family. The next day, Michael decided to ask for help. It wasn't easy for him, but he knew they couldn't do it alone. Surprisingly, people stepped up. Neighbors started bringing food, a charity helped pay for Sarah's medicine, and a friend offered him a job at his company. Slowly, things began to change. Sarah started getting better, the kids came back home, and Michael's new job brought in enough to keep the house running. It wasn't a quick fix, but little by little, the light returned to their lives. A year later, they were sitting around the dinner table, laughing together like they used to. There was food on the table, warmth in the house, and love in the air. Michael looked at his family, tears welling up in his eyes. They had made it. They had survived the storm. Through all the pain, the doubt, and the fear, they had come out stronger. They realized that even in the hardest times, they were never alone.